I feel like I learned so much in hearing your experiences with all these filmmakers, because these are some of my favorite filmmakers. Obviously, Spike.
No, you might tell the story when you got emotional when you came to set.
On Tenet?
Yeah, you got it. You got
Oh my God, bro. Oh my God.
The athlete thing, I think, is super interesting. Like, you know, you were an athlete just like me, and I know you always wanted to be an artist. But like, did you ever see like the artistry in your basketball pursuits, in your sports?
I guess I wasn't conscious of it in that way. What's great about sports is it combines like an intellectual part, like you have to think through the game, and a physical.
Yeah.
Directing feels like that sometimes when you're on set and you have all these elements and there's a million problems and a million questions, but you kind of just get in this rhythm.
Yeah, almost like instincts can take over.
Instincts take over, and you don't even have time to be stressed about it. You just kind of go.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that though?
Yeah. Well, I saw the artistry a little bit because I'm thinking about like the rigorous X's and O's and the technical aspect of like film study and all that. So you have all of it, and then you completely let it go because like if the run is to the left, but there's a defender right there, you gotta break right. And so like you're conducting a scene, I know it's structured a certain way. Blocking is a certain way, which he loves his blocking, and I guess I don't do that. But you know what? If Danielle is in piano lesson is hitting me with something else, I might need to pivot.
Yeah.
Boy Willie needs to pivot.
I'm curious because you've talked about this before, but you had an interesting entry point into acting. It was the summer 2013, pivotal summer of my life. I just graduated college, and we were living together at the time. Mm-hmm. And you got hurt.
Mm-hmm. Very low point, by the way. I'm back at the house.
For one of us.
My brother's there. Yeah. He's thriving. He got a job. I don't. He coming home like hard day at work. Oh, hey, John David, what you do today? Nothing. Busting my ass all day.
But then it switched up though, and you got that first audition.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk me through that.
No, it was how fortuitous it was to get called to be a football player. And the whole plan was to audition, just get used to auditioning, get in the room, get rejected. Kind of used to rejection. I would up until that point for the last like 2 years, I've been doing these auditions, if you will, workouts for teams and getting rejected. And so I was like, oh, that's nothing. So what I'll do, the plan is go in the room, get comfortable, move to New York, study. And lo and behold, first audition goes really well. And then 10 auditions later, over the course of 2 months, I booked it.
Yeah, I feel like you were auditioning for like,
it was a while.
It was like a long time.
And I didn't tell anybody.
No.
I mean, you knew because you were
I was there. Because you were in a boot.
Yeah.
You tore your Achilles, he was in a boot.
I was out there auditioning like on pain pills.
And crutches, the first couple ones.
Right. Let's run this one one more time. But and so I had, of course, obviously I had a lot of experience in the locker room and NFL experience. And I thought it was a hell of an opportunity to portray a ball player, especially a wide receiver, and them getting them being able to voice like their experiences and like how sometimes fans don't understand why like they'll miss camp or the contract negotiations go awry. Like I thought that was a great opportunity to do that. So, and here I am like wanting to do this my whole life now.
Yeah.
Like this is it. And like this was the freaking
I remember.
moment, right? And our Uncle Woodson, who this was like a low point. This was before the call. I'll never forget Uncle Woodson, our uncle. He calls me when I'm done with football for real. And he's like, I just want you to know I'm proud of you. And you can always be a coach. You can be a coach or you can go back to school and teach. I was like, this is my low moment.
This is it. It's like,
I gotta act now.
Because nobody believes in you like Uncle Woody believes in you.
Right. I mean, he meant so well. Like, yeah, you can coach, you can do it. It was a great speech.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm like, see,
it's over.
I gotta stop being a punk. I gotta go for it. And so I did, man.
What did you envision for yourself in this field at that point? You know,
at that point,
yeah. Like, what did you hope that you could be?
Man, it's like glory be to God. I've been able to accomplish some of those manifestations. You know, with some of the filmmakers I've gotten to work with, some of the projects I've gotten to be on. It's mind-boggling. I can't believe that I've gotten the opportunities I have, that they knew my work enough to trust me to be in the position of, you know, sometimes it was leading man or just being able just to be a collaborator. And so I've always dreamed about that, dreamed about it my whole life, man. So it's kind of happening. It's pretty crazy.
We talk a lot about filmmakers and movies, and you've gotten to kind of check the list, check the box on a bunch of people that you've wanted to work with. So what was that like running through the greats?
Running through the great. Well, I mean, it was obviously a dream come true. We talked about it earlier. Like, where did you see yourself when you started? And like, I didn't even see some of this, some of these opportunities for me. I knew I wanted, but I thought it was an impossible achievement. But it surprised me on how enthusiastic and like this pubescent like joy of the filmmaking process still remains in their spirit and in the way they behave. When I'm thinking of like Mr. Spike Lee and Christopher Nolan, they get excited when an actor does something new. They get excited when you might go off the cuff on something. Literally, Chris Nolan said once, like, don't do it the same. I like the fact that you're not doing it the same. Just like, I remember one time Spike, I was like, "Are you sure we got it?" He's like, "We got it." It was like 2 takes. I was like, I got some other stuff we got it. Just move on, Slate, like move on. Yeah, I was like, man, I mean, these are the greats, you know what I mean? And it's not like this arrogant thing. They just know. And to me, they're like, directors like that actor friendly. They really seem to appreciate the people they hire. It's almost like, I know, I picked that.
Yeah, I picked that.
Yeah, so I go ahead and run. So I go ahead, And so I found, and I feel the same thing with you, man. Like, you gave us so much space. And, you might hear actors say that, but to me, it's a rare thing. There's not a lot of directors that let you run like that, because we were talking about it earlier. Sometimes you're going to fall so hard, it's hard to get back up, and it can get so lost, but you find a way
you just kind of
to
keep
bring us back in. Yeah.
Steering wheel a little. But I feel like I learned so much in hearing your experiences with all these filmmakers, because these are some of my favorite filmmakers. Obviously, Spike.
No, you got to tell the story when you got emotional when you came to set
on Tenet.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh my God, bro! Oh my God! I pull up on Tenet. I fuck with Nolan. Like, of course, he's one of the ones.
He's God.
And like Nolan and Hoyte,
shout out.
Love Hoyte, love Hoyte. So I'm coming on set. Also, it's such a funny experience showing up on a Nolan set, because you're like, okay, this is gonna be a gigantic movie.
Security's gonna be crazy.
There's gonna be 100 million people on set, 80 village. You get there, it looks like a student film.
No tent.
There's like 6 people that are there, and there's Nolan doing half the job.
It's just he and Hoyt.
It's just him and Hoyt.
That's true. It's true.
No monitor, nowhere. You're like, I don't even know where we're shooting. And he comes out, and he's very regal. Nolan, like, just proper, but smooth.
Yeah,
smooth.
Yes,
smooth. Comes out, and he's like, and he just gives me one of the monitor, which is like,
look like a Game Boy.
Yeah, it's like a radio, and you pour it on your neck. Yeah. And first, I got when everybody looks at me like,
what's going on?
And can I see? Because nobody can see. So I look at it, and Hoyte frames up. Also, it might have been an IMAX day. And Hoyte going handheld on the IMAX.
Crazy, yeah.
Insane.
He does his own stunts.
Yeah, crazy. And he frames up, and Nolan's like, John David.
He says my name perfect, by the way. Yeah.
John David. I broke down in tears. Because it was like the palette. It was like, this is such a Nolan movie. Like, this is it. Like, I already know what it is. And
my brother, right?
My brother. Yeah. I literally walked away. A production designer that I used to work with from film school was an assistant art director on that. So she was there with me, and we came up in film school together. So I walk away, I'm like keeled over. She puts her hand on my back like, you good? No. She puts her hand on my back like, it's all good. It's all good. I'm like, it's just, we used to pray for times like this.
That was a great movie.
Incredible. But I've learned so much from those filmmakers by just through you, because you would call me,
going crazy
and telling me what the process was like what was it like on a day by day practical thing, because you get advice from people and they're always like, follow your spirit, like, okay, but what do I do on Monday? What does that mean at rehearsal? Like, what do I do? And having you there that went through all the doors first and then kind of helped walk me through it. I was like, oh, here's what we did, here's what we talked about, here's a great note I got, here's a note that didn't help me as much. It's like, okay, that's like, it shaped my understanding of what that relationship could be like. So around 2 years ago,
2022.
you did piano lesson for the first time on Broadway, on the boards. Never been on Broadway before.
Right.
Never done a full run of a play before.
Right. I didn't get paid for it. I've done some like in classrooms on the park.
But I mean like a full run.
Yeah.
So what was that like the first day?
Like life and death, brother. I felt like if this don't work, it's over. Everything I kind of built on, like Ballers or whatever, it don't matter. This is my real, like, this is my album. Can he rap? You know what I mean? Like, he's got the studio albums, got Dr. Dre and everybody producing this stuff. That's easy. Can you rap? Do you got these bars? So I'll talk about it now. I was so nervous. I was a wreck. My publicist knows. I was telling her all kinds of crazy stuff. Like, I don't want to do I can't do anything. I don't want to talk about this. I can't do it. Like, you have to do the red carpet just to say, like, welcome to the opening. I'm like, I can't do none of that.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't.
I'm locked in.
No, so in this Negro, you come to my dressing room, like earpiece, because you were doing a little documentary. You were like, all right, big dog, this is it. I'm like, first of all, how do you get past security and all this? You got it, brother.
Oh my God.
And for some reason, it made me calm, but also made me even more nervous. It's like, oh my God, I don't like opening night. I ain't gonna lie, I'm not a fan of opening nights, man. But I was extremely terrified. I was, and I got through it. It was all good. But I again, like I was saying before, like if I can get through it, if I can stand and survive this, I'm gonna act the rest of my life. So, but yeah, but what,
and you got through it.
I got through it.
You survived.
I got through it.
And I feel like with a work like August Wilson's, any of his work, there's so much density. Like there's a lot to be mined and discovered in the work. And I know, as I've heard people say, I've never had this experience because I'm not an actor. But when you go through a run of a play, that you're constantly discovering stuff as you go. What does that practically look like to you? Like, what does that mean exactly?
Literally every show, it's like, I said that line weird. Or I got a laugh there and I didn't even realize I got a laugh there. And I realized when you listen a certain way, or if Sam says a certain thing a certain way, you discover, oh, that's what that means. You know, because he, like you said, the density, and he writes spherically, in my opinion. He's like, it's so loaded. You will always discover something, under the level, under the surface, when you keep, as long as you keep digging and just keep staying open to it. So it would look like after a line I deliver after a show, I figured something out. I'm like, I think I got something. And then you might fall flat on your face on the next show.
But then you carry that to the next.
Then you carry that to the next. Or you can't, like, if you feel like you got something, you can't necessarily take it, or try to chase that performance, because you'll fall flat. Maybe sometimes when we're talking about sports, a game, like, I can't play just like that. The game's going to be different, so you got to be open to it.
Did you ever get into what I would think is probably a bad rhythm of chasing audience reaction, like, if they're loud?
You can't help it. Like, I understand what comedians, like the buzz of a comedian, like being a comedian. When you get there's nothing, I don't know if there's anything like getting a laugh up front of 1,000+ people. Like there was this line I would deliver, like when I'm yelling at my sister, like, we wait till the people get up. He's like about to have an aneurysm. Yeah. And that would get, like, they would have to pause sometimes to let the laughs clear. And it was that feeling is indescribable, but you can't chase it. You know what I'm saying? Because
then you don't go out
then it'll fall flat, and then you might mess up the rest of your,
Is there a dramatic version of that? Is there like a?
Well, I thought it was in the movie, man.
I'm saying on stage. On stage. Because in film, I think it's the opposite.
Yeah, that's like, I didn't do it like that in the movie.
Totally different. And I loved how you did it in the movie. Yeah. Totally different, and it sat in the movie.
Yeah. When did you discover August, and what did it mean from then to now?
What did it mean?
Yeah, what did it mean?
I was trying to figure out.
First time you picked up a basketball, what did it mean?
What did it mean? It's me and the ball. First time I really read August Wilson was at AFI when I was in film school. We had an exercise where you have to direct a scene from a previous work, and they were mostly plays. Like teacher, like, I don't know if it was actually like this or if it's just in my memory. Okay. It feels like a movie, like teacher like dumps out all the classics.
Well, we're on the show right now, so this is
what happened. Yeah, this is what happened. Teacher comes in and dumps out like all the classics on a table, and everybody's like picking through all these works, And August Wilson was the only Black writer on that table. So I was like, okay, I know August.
I know what it is.
Yeah, I know August, and I'm I'm gonna jump in that. Like I've just heard, you hear about his name for so long, like it's just in your life in that way. But I never really read him. I wasn't super familiar. So I was like, let me just do a scene from this. I'm sure, I know there's gonna be Black people in there and I'm sure it's good. And it was a scene from Fences. And it was really good. it was really, really good. And in this one scene, it was when Rose and Troy have like one of their big arguments, and she has that monologue.
Standing in the same place.
Yeah, I was standing with you 16 years. So I started breaking down that scene, breaking down the characters, the two characters, and like who they are as people. And with August, when you start digging into it, even more comes up. It's like more and more and more comes up. And you think that you're getting close to the bottom of understanding, and you're like, wait, this story's even richer and deeper than I thought. So that was the first time I really started understanding.
But not from a theater perspective. It was from a
filmmaking perspective. Yeah, like I want to know I'm gonna shoot a movie, a scene of a movie, but I need to know who the character is.
So it's it's interesting. In a way, you came up on August Wilson through the lens of film, like most or some
absolutely,
or like through the stage. And
I think that's why it's cool. Doing this movie, I felt really secure about it because I didn't really have another way in. You know what I mean? It's just what I knew. It wasn't even super complicated. It was just what I knew.
I know you'd be like, after the play, some shows you're like, that was great, man. I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know. Like it's just not
blocking,
my.
I guess.
Yeah, it's not my. I don't know that world. I didn't study it. It's like I don't know it in that way. I just know characters and story, and in this language.
Tell your mama to tell you about that piano. You feel that? That's your family, your blood. Now you ask her how them pictures got on there. If she don't tell you, I tell you.
When I was hearing you talk about that feeling of like wanting to prove yourself, I related to that so much because in the journey, it was like, you when you're trying to get a movie made, you go around and I came to you with the books of like images and stories and my take on what I wanted it to be. But then when you get there and you have to shoot it, now you have to actually do all those things that you said you were gonna do. And it's kind of scary. It's really, really, really scary. But I knew having you, Danielle, Sam, all these people who, some of them, everybody on in the cast had some experience with August Wilson to varying degrees. You've read his monologues, you've read his plays, some of you have acted in them, some of you acted in the exact play that we were doing. But there was always love and reverence for August and for each other. And I think that kind of buoyed everybody and myself as well.
Well, it's interesting because I'm thinking about what you're saying, the parallels here. Because with all the rehearsal, we had a run of previews. And yet that's what all right. And I thought during the previews, all right, I'm not going to be too nervous. It's like we're running already. Yeah. But for some reason, opening night is just the thing. And I'm thinking about you though, the parallel I'm trying to make is, you have the conception and all that, you got the green light, and then you get your department heads and you talk and you have your team meetings and then you light the candle. We got our first table read and here we go. So you're prepared, you're ready, but yet for some reason that first day was like it just kind of like
it's just like
and that's so interesting.
They're like, okay, all right, let's roll sound. You're like, wait, what are we doing? What's about to happen right now?
Is there a camera?
Yeah, like what are we? Huh?
Yeah. That's so cool.
But then you get through it, and then one day.
But you had to calm me down. That first day, I'm like, oh God, no.
Yeah.
I was hyped, and you came through like. Calm down. So I couldn't tell if you were like, maybe you were just, because I was a little nervous and hyped too,
We all were, we all wanted to do well.
Yeah,
everybody wanted to do so well. To do well, and that was a sign of commitment.
But speaking of like veterans, I mean, between Mr. Potts and Sam Jackson, talking about legacy and how, he knew August Wilson and he developed, he invented the role of Boy Willie. Yeah. And so I think that was so valuable to have their presence, their constant immediate stay in the room on stage was just incredible. Yeah. And I think that was really beneficial to our growth and our being able to get up to speed as quickly as we did.
And their chemistry together too. Michael Potts is such a legendary actor, as is Samuel L. Jackson.
Dare I say, like, is he underrated? Like people aren't really giving him the flowers he deserves,
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah,
kind of crazy.
yeah.
Like he's one of the greats.
He's one of the greats.
man.
Michael Potts is one of the greats. And seeing their camaraderie and the respect that they had for each other, I feel like in some ways made all of us aspire to that too.
Mm-hmm.
Where there was no competition.
Right.
It was two vets being vets, knowing what they were doing, and we were all like, okay, yeah, we follow that lead.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
we're not in competition with one another.
Yeah.
We're trying to build this thing up together.
And then you're casting Danielle. Like, I don't know, what did you see?
Station 11. Station 11 was a show she did. It was Hiro Murai worked on.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And she just had this really grounded strength to her and a maturity, and she was very regal but still like of the earth, you know, and she kind of tied all these contradictions together in a really wonderful way. And when I was thinking about Bernice and Boy Willie, it's a brother and sister story, and I'm a younger brother and I have an older sister, and that relationship doesn't get talked about enough. Like, older sisters make younger brothers cool. They can tell you what to read and what to watch and like what to wear, all these things. And that dynamic is they protect you in a way. You know, they experience the world first and they help guide you through it, and they can free up space for you and make space for you to be whatever you want to be, and rambunctious and funny and like and weird, and any idiosyncrasy that you have, you can chase because you have an older sister there to keep you in line. And that was something that I wanted to come through in the dynamic of Boy Willie and Bernice, because Boy Willie has this brashness to him, and I think it's totally set up by the fact that he's a younger brother. He has somebody that was holding room for him, holding space for him. And Danielle had such a strength in that, and like an understanding of the world, that she could protect you and make space for you and make you not worry about certain problems. You didn't have that caution when you were young because somebody else was always looking out for you. And that was a dynamic that I really wanted to see you two play out. And in bringing her in, I called you right after I spoke to her for the first time, and I was like, I can't wait for you to meet her. I can't wait, because the way she was thinking about it intellectually, her intuition, she's so intuition based, that I just couldn't wait to see how y'all.
The dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was fire.
Yeah.
It was
incredible.
It was electric. There's a whole process about that goes into making the film and adapting a play like this. I'm assuming you had some grand ideas that got cut. Yeah. Like, you don't have to name any names or whatever, but like, do you feel comfortable talking about some of that stuff? Or not?
You know what? There's stuff. making a movie.
Yeah, tell us about that, man. I got an idea. Yeah,
no, but you know how the creative process is, where it's like some ideas aren't totally made to be seen through all the way. Mm-hmm. They just get you to the idea that the movie
works for
them. Yeah, that the movie wants, because ultimately you're trying to serve the movie. Like, as much as I'm like, oh, I had this idea that I really liked and wanted to. If the movie doesn't support it, you gotta.
Bro, you know who you're talking to, right? You're talking to an actor. We know all about that. Hey, Mr. Director, or Mrs. Director, I'd like to try it. Yeah, go ahead and try it. Yeah. Just because we got it.
Okay, but we
then when y'all come back, we got that one. Let's try something else. That
wasn't your story, Piano Lesson.
Oh,
that wasn't your story. You brought a lot to it. And I'm grateful because you instilled a lot of fearlessness in me as a director, because a project like this, there's so much reverence, so much legacy. It's like precious. It's so precious, and you can be afraid to break it. Mm-hmm. And I knew intellectually, I came in like, nah, we're gonna break it. You know, we're gonna like push this thing to the limits. Mm-hmm. We're gonna push it all, take it to the edge, and always honor August Wilson. Always honor the work, but stretch it. Like, let's find how dexterous this thing can be. But then when you get there and you're on set.
Right. So there's ghosts all of a sudden. It's everywhere.
Yeah,
it's ever present.
It's scary. It's scary. But you had such a fearlessness in how you approached it. And day one, we're just alive and present, and threw away so much stuff and started building Boy Willie up from the ground up. After doing the play for 6 months, you know, but just totally starting over and saying, okay, we're doing something new now.
Something else.
Yeah, let's start again.
Which is exciting.
What I hope people take away when they watch a Piano Lesson is in the piano lesson, every character does what they think is right, what they think is best for not only for themselves but for others. I feel like everybody's acting in their own way, selflessly, for the betterment of the family. And there's a lot of conflict within that, but what ties it all together is love. There's so much love.
Right. Yes.
That in the middle of it. And I think that for a lot of people with their families, there might be conflict. You might see things differently. You might think that the way that you're trying to go about something is the best way. But as long as there's love there, then there's opportunity to continue to be together. And that's powerful.
Q-Pin. There you go. Film theory. Well said, sir.
Thank you.
Good times.